Most guys think the first thing a woman notices is big muscles, height, or a good-looking face. But that's not really how first impressions work. Within just a few seconds, her brain is already picking up on subtle physical cues that give away confidence, strength, and even personality, often before either of you says a word. Today, you're going to find out the 7 body parts women secretly clock first, and more importantly, why those little details matter way more than most guys realize. Topic 1. Eyes, the first silent conversation. Most guys assume that if a woman notices them, it's because of something obvious like big muscles or an expensive outfit. But in reality, long before she picks up on any of that, her brain is already reading something way simpler. His eyes. That's usually the first place her attention lands, not because she's checking out eye color, but because the eyes give away something that's hard to fake. In a second or two, they can broadcast confidence, calm, curiosity, or insecurity without a single word being said. Think about the last time someone walked into a room and instantly seemed interesting, even before they said hi. Chances are, it wasn't just their face that did it. It was the way they carried their attention. A guy who makes natural eye contact without forcing. It comes off as comfortable in his own skin, while someone who's always staring at the floor, scanning the room nervously, or dodging eye contact altogether, ends up signaling uncertainty without even meaning to. The wild part is that most of this happens below conscious awareness, so it feels more like a gut instinct than an actual judgment call. That doesn't mean you need some intense movie villain stare that freaks people out. Quite the opposite. The most attractive eye contact feels effortless, the kind that says, "I'm here," instead of, "I'm trying to impress you." Something as small as actually looking at the cashier when you thank her, keeping relaxed eye contact mid-conversation, or looking up instead of burying your face in your phone while walking, can seriously shift how people see you. And once that silent conversation through the eyes gets going, another part of the body quietly starts backing it up, or blowing the whole thing. Topic 2. Shoulders, the shape that signals strength. One of the biggest mistakes guys make is thinking women are on the hunt for the biggest dude in the room. In reality, attraction almost never works like a bodybuilding contest. What tends to grab attention instead is proportion. Broad shoulders naturally create that V-shaped silhouette, one of the strongest visual cues of masculinity out there. Even before a woman consciously clocks what a guy's wearing or how tall he is, that overall frame is already quietly saying, strong, capable, present. It's not about being perfect, and it's about the impression that shape leaves in those first few seconds. Here's the thing. Posture matters just as much as muscle. A guy with average shoulders who stands up straight, keeps his chest open, and moves with relaxed confidence can come across way more attractive than someone jacked who's always slouching. Picture 2 guys walking into the same coffee shop. One immediately looks down at his phone, shoulders caved in, basically trying to disappear. The other walks in naturally, shoulders back without overdoing it, calmly scanning the room before ordering. Neither one has said a word, yet people around them form completely different impressions on the spot. That's the quiet power of body language working alongside your actual build. The good news? This isn't reserved for guys with elite genetics. Small changes can make a huge difference here. Wearing clothes that actually fit instead of baggy shirts, building up your upper back with rows or pull-ups, and just being more aware of your posture throughout the day can totally change how those shoulders read. The goal isn't to look intimidating. It's to project quiet confidence. And as important as that upper frame is, there's another body part women notice constantly, simply because it's always moving and giving away personality in ways most guys never think about. Topic 3. Hands more than just hands. Most guys never think twice about their hands, yet they're one of the few body parts that stay in view during pretty much every interaction. Whether he's shaking someone's hand, holding a coffee, opening a door, or talking with his hands mid-story, they're constantly sending signals. Women often clock them without even realizing it, because hands reveal something that's tough to hide. How a guy takes care of himself, and how comfortable he is in his own movements. Small details on their own, sure, but together they add up to a surprisingly strong first impression. It's not about having massive hands or looking like you spend every day lifting. What stands out is the mix of grooming, confidence, and natural body language. Clean nails, healthy-looking skin, relaxed gestures, that all quietly says discipline and attention to detail. On the flip side, restless fidgeting, cracking your knuckles non-stop, or nervously messing with your keys or phone can give away tension even if you're trying to look chill. People rarely remember these little behaviors consciously, but they definitely remember the vibe they left behind. Here's a good example. Picture a guy calmly telling a funny story, naturally using his hands to hit certain beats. His gestures feel smooth, controlled, real, and it makes the conversation land better without drawing attention to themselves. Now compare that to someone whose hands never stop moving out of pure, nervous energy. Same words, totally different experience. That's why confident communication isn't just something you hear, it's something you see. And once women start clocking those subtle movements, their attention often drifts to another feature that quietly frames the whole face and shapes how masculine a guy comes across before he even cracks a smile. If you're vibing with this video and picking up something new, take a sec to subscribe to the channel. We're grinding toward 1,000 subscribers, and every single sub helps us keep putting out more deep dive videos like this one on psychology, confidence, and attraction. Thanks for riding along with us. Topic 4. Jawline and neck, the confidence frame. A guy's face naturally grabs attention, but surprisingly, it's not always the eyes or the smile that shape a woman's first impression. More often than people think, it's the overall frame of the face, especially the jawline and neck, that quietly decides how masculine, healthy, and confident he seems. This isn't about having a chiseled Hollywood jaw or winning the genetic lottery. It's about the structure those features create together. A defined jawline, a relaxed neck, and good head posture give the face a stronger presence, while bad posture can make even a good-looking guy seem tired or unsure before he said a single word. This is exactly why grooming has such a big effect. A well-kept beard, whether it's clean-shaven, light stubble, or a full beard, can actually enhance the natural shape of the jaw instead of hiding it. Meanwhile, constantly tilting your head down, usually from hours of staring at your phone or laptop, compresses the neck and softens that confident frame. Think about how different someone looks in two photos. One with the chin slightly lifted, shoulders relaxed, and neck elongated, versus another with the head hunched forward and eyes glued to the ground. Same guy, totally different impression, because posture literally reshapes the face. Here's the interesting part. Women almost never consciously think, "Wow, nice jawline." Instead, their brains process the whole picture nearly instantly, turning those visual cues into feelings like confidence, maturity, or strength. That's why small habits, fixing your posture, picking a hairstyle or beard style that actually suits your face, often make a bigger difference than chasing some unrealistic standard. But even a strong facial frame can lose a lot of its power if the rest of the body's telling a different story. And that's exactly where the next signal starts to matter even more than facial features alone. Topic 5. Posture and chest, the confidence signal. If there's one physical trait that can instantly boost or completely tank every other feature on this list, it's posture. A guy can have striking eyes, broad shoulders, and a sharp jawline. But if he's walking around with his chest caved in and shoulders rolled forward, all those advantages get a lot harder to notice. On the flip side, a guy with a totally average build can come across as genuinely attractive just because he carries himself with confidence. The chest matters here not because women are measuring muscle size, but because it reflects how a guy takes up space and how he feels about himself. Psychologists have studied the link between posture and perception for years, and it always points the same direction. People naturally connect an open posture with confidence, competence, and emotional stability. Picture walking into a networking event or a friend's party. One guy stands with his arms crossed tight, shoulders hunched, basically fading into the background. Another stands comfortably, chest open, breathing easy, making relaxed eye contact with the people around him. Neither has introduced himself yet, but the second guy usually reads as more approachable, more trustworthy, and yeah, more attractive. His posture's already sending a message before his personality even gets a chance to speak. Here's the encouraging part. Posture is one of the easiest things to fix because it's got nothing to do with genetics. Strengthening your upper back, stretching out your chest after long hours at a desk, and just staying aware of how you're holding your body throughout the day can create real changes over time. Even taking one slow, deep breath before walking into a room naturally lifts the chest and releases unnecessary tension. These small tweaks don't just change how other people see you, they often change how you see yourself too. And once that confident posture's locked in, there's one last physical detail that quietly steals attention in a way most guys never see coming. Topic 6. Forearms, the unexpected attraction trigger. If you asked most guys which body parts women secretly notice first, forearms probably wouldn't even crack the list. And yet, they come up over and over in conversations, surveys, and pretty much every discussion about attraction out there. It's not that forearms are some magic feature on their own. It's that they're constantly on display in everyday life and quietly communicate strength in a way that feels natural instead of forced. Unlike a flexed bicep at the gym, forearms show up while you're carrying groceries, rolling up your sleeves, driving, cooking dinner, or reaching across a table. They're strength in action, not strength on display. There's also a psychological angle that makes them stick in people's minds. Well-built forearms often suggest a guy is physically capable, active, and hands-on, even if he's not exactly jacked. That's part of why rolled-up sleeves became such an iconic look. They reveal just enough to hint at being in shape without looking like you're trying too hard. And here's the thing. It's not about chasing massive size. Definition, proportion, and healthy-looking skin usually leave a stronger impression than sheer bulk ever could. Just another reminder that attraction is usually built on subtle signals, not dramatic ones. The best part is you don't need to live at the gym to improve this. Simple stuff like farmer's carries, pull-ups, dead hangs, wrist curls, or even rock climbing and rowing will naturally build up your forearms over time. Pair that with good grooming and clothes that actually fit, and these small details quietly back up the whole picture of competence and confidence that women often notice before they're even aware of it. But as strong as every feature on this list has been, none of them fully explain why one guy instantly stands out while another fades into the background. The last piece isn't about a single body part at all. It's about how the whole body comes together the second he starts moving. Topic 7. The way you walk. Your body tells the story before you do. Here's the surprising truth. By the time a woman's noticed your eyes, shoulders, hands, jawline, posture, and even your forearms, her brain's already been paying attention to something that ties all of it together. How you move. A guy's walk is basically a silent introduction. Before he speaks, smiles, or even gets close enough to start a conversation, his movement is already telling a story about his confidence, his emotional state, his level of self-assurance. Most people have no idea they're even making these judgments, but our brains are shockingly good at reading motion in just a few seconds. Think about the difference between someone rushing around with short, hesitant steps, eyes glued to the ground, versus someone walking at a relaxed, steady pace with actual purpose. The second guy isn't necessarily moving faster or slower. He just looks comfortable taking up space. His movements are smooth instead of rushed. His posture stays open, and he's not trying to force attention his way. Ironically, that's exactly what makes people notice him. Confidence isn't about moving more. It's about moving without unnecessary tension. It's a subtle thing that's tough to fake, because the body naturally reflects what's actually going on in the mind. This is why real attractive body language isn't something you build by obsessing over one feature in the mirror. It comes together when healthy habits, good posture, natural eye contact, relaxed gestures, and genuine confidence all start working as one complete package. The guys who leave the strongest first impressions usually aren't thinking about every single move they're making. They've just built habits that let confidence show up naturally. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway here. Women often notice individual body parts first, but what actually sticks in their memory is the overall presence those details create once they all come together. Conclusion. By now, you've probably picked up on the fact that attraction isn't built around one perfect feature. It's a combination of small signals that quietly shape how people see you before you've even had the chance to introduce yourself. The good news is that most of these signals have way less to do with genetics and way more to do with habits, awareness, and how you carry yourself every single day. Small improvements, done consistently, usually add up to the biggest changes in first impressions. So here's something worth sitting with. If someone met you today for the very first time, what story would your body language tell before you even opened your mouth? Which of these 7 body parts surprised you the most? And which one do you think you've been sleeping on? Let us know in the comments. We'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts and experiences. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep learning about the psychology behind confidence, attraction, and masculine presence, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.